Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hello, Average Jocks fans. Joel here. We have a special Ottawa Senators edition of the podcast. We are joined this week by Ottawa Senators tough guy and Winchester, Ontario legend, Matt Carkner. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, fellas. I don't know about the legend of Winchester, but there's a few characters coming out of those parts, that's for sure.
Fuck, tell me about it. Oh. We my first ever partner at work was from Winchester, and she was about 10 cents short of a dime. She was special, let me tell you. Yeah.
Let's hope she doesn't watch the podcast.
I don't know if she has internet.
Yeah.
Her and her brother-in-law Trevor. Trevor was a character.
No, good spot though. That's where I was raised outside of Winchester, though, if you can recall, in Moorwood. A little different there, you know what I mean, in Moorwood versus Winchester.
And for everyone, obviously, that's not going to know that yesterday we started to record. We got about 20 minutes of good content, good stories with Matt, and just power went out, so we lost a few good stories. But I mean,
it's good. Don't throw anybody under the bus.
I'm not saying throwing. I didn't say a single word whose fault it was, but I didn't ask this yesterday. So, Matt, you talked about you playing and you playing for, I think it was the Winchester Hawks, I think it was, when you were 15, yep. And a 21-year-old came at you and you threw down and just beat the brakes off of him. Like, you as a 15-year-old, like, was the first thing when he came at you was like, all right, I'm going to have to throw hands with this guy? Or was it like, dude, are you actually really serious? You want to fight me?
Yeah, no, I don't know. At that point in my life, I've been into a few little tilts off ice. So it wasn't, I knew the way I played so physical that people were going to come after me. And I think that was the first fight. And then we got into playoffs, and I was number 10 with the Winchester Hawks, and there was fans from Alexandria holding up fight number 10 signs. I'm like, guys, I'm 15 years old. I don't need to do this every day. But no, I always stuck up for myself. I watched a lot of, the Rocky movies and all that growing up. So I knew how to throw down back then.
Well, I mean, no kidding. And just again, for reference, one of the things we brought up was my colleague Tim playing volleyball against you. And like at 15, you were saying you're like 6'3".
Yeah.
So you were pretty much a grown man at 6'3". At 15 years old. But yeah, Jesus.
It was I grew quick one summer, and then I think I added another inch and a bit after that, growing up into my later teens. But I had the early growth spurt. Everyone thought it would be like 6'7" or 6'8", but I stopped at 6'4" and just got a little thicker, a little heavier.
You know what? Thank God though, because Zdeno Chara is a fucking freak. So thank God you stopped at 6'4".
Yeah, he is a freak. He ripped my jersey right in half when we were in a little bit of a tussle. I grabbed onto his right, and he just pulled right back slowly, and his jersey was left in my hand. And I was impressed. I've never had that happen before.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think there's too many people that got the upper hand on Matt Carkner during your hockey days. But yeah, no, that guy was definitely bred in the lab for sure.
And I mean, even even late in his career, his jerseys were like up here. They still didn't figure out like the dimensions how he was, because like they were just like, we'll try this one, and it just looked like he was wearing a goalie jersey all the time.
No, he is a phenomenal athlete. I don't know how he did it as long as he did, being that size, but he trained like a beast, and he led the right way. he's quite the player, quite the leader for Boston for a lot of years.
You know what I mean? I think it goes back to what Brian O'Reilly was saying. It was like Zdeno played his game. He never like stepped out of his zone. Like he was physical, but at the same time was still like very like strategic of when he had to be physical. So I think that's like a big reason why he played so long.
Oh, absolutely. He used his angles. Like think about his angles with his stick length and his reach. Like he would put people to where he wanted them, and he didn't have to move his feet all that much because it's like yeah, he's a so he was hard to play against. That's for sure. And obviously is a winner.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't want to go up against them.
No, I mean the closest thing I came to playing against an NHLer was I shot a shootout against Dominic Hasek one time.
Did you score?
No, I completely missed the net.
That's awful. You didn't even hit the pad. You just missed the net.
Completely missed the net. But I got to meet him, and I got a signed hockey goalie stick from Dominic Hasek.
Nice.
So, I mean,
he's a legend.
I mean, funny story about Dominic Hasek. Full circle. We're talking about you playing volleyball against my buddy Tim from work. My buddy Tim played some beach volleyball with Dominic Hasek down in like the Dominican Republic or whatever, and Dominic Hasek tried picking up his wife. So yeah, full circle moment here on Average Jocks podcast.
I'm not going to go down that road with those stories, but yeah, great things.
Geez. So just to kind of recap again, the first little bit that we did yesterday, Adam talked about you going from, a small town like Moorwood / playing in Winchester, and then ending up playing in Peterborough. How was it going from, towns where if you blink, you miss it, and, Moorwood doesn't even have a,
traffic light.
Traffic lights is just a 4-way stop. To a city like Peterborough. I mean, I'm sure the parties were a little better, and we were joking yesterday where in those small towns it was tough meeting people because everybody was a second, third, or fourth cousin. So how was it ending up going to Peterborough to play some junior hockey?
Well, it was, definitely good in that regard. I wasn't coming home from the dances with a cousin like you're referring to. So, that didn't happen often in Peterborough, that's for sure. But no, going from Winchester Hawks to the Brockville Braves and then getting drafted to Peterborough. It was, that was kind of like that moment. I didn't really realize where I was headed. Like if I was going to make it as a hockey player, when you're 15, you don't really know. You just kind of go out, play the game, you play hard and see where the chips fall. But going to Peterborough was different. I went from, North Dundas High School. I think there was like 600 kids tops, maybe 400, going to Thomas A. Stewart Secondary School. I think they had 1,500 kids. So it was just a big change. I think there was more than that, to be honest with you, but big change in that regard. And just the hockey was, that was their thing in Peterborough, and they knew who you were, and they knew if you were on the street and you're being rude to somebody, you get an email or not. Well, yeah, I guess emails were out back then.
Yeah.
We're getting emails or phone calls, and they're calling the coach and letting the coach know if you're out of line, and if you're coming out late from a bar one night, they knew who you were, what vehicle you drove, and it was, you were kind of under the limelight there a little bit. But loved my years in Peterborough. Great people, great people who kind of guided me along and led me in the right direction for my career.
Nice arena there too. I like the arena there.
Yeah, no, the Petes are a great franchise. Like I would say one of my favorites to follow when I'm watching OHL games or CHL completely, between them and London.
Yeah. Underrated jerseys, I think.
Yes, I agree. Love the burgundy.
Yeah, just the burgundy. I think that's
burgundy's nice. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some people give them the gears about it, but I like it. And actually, they're doing pretty well right now in playoffs, right? Been following along a little bit, but they're in it still. So
aren't they playing against the London Knights?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
because
something I saw on Twitter that popped up about London Knights player.
yeah, he's giving it.
Something
He was giving it to the penalty box guy.
Oh shit, that was that.
Yeah, that was.
I was
that.
watching that today, and I was just I didn't even clue in on the teams. I just laughed at it.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was London Knights. I think it's like I'm assuming it's Peterborough because I think it's the finals because I know the Q's in the final because whoever in the final is for the Q. But yeah, he was fired up, and the guy in the penalty box was not taking no for an answer.
Yeah,
I love that
it's
shit.
interesting, and I actually just scrolled through. I didn't look at the whole thing, but yeah, it looked a little bit belligerent, whatever was going on there.
Love that, love it.
Yeah.
So after your junior hockey, we talked about you being drafted to the Canadians, and we talked about ordering a custom Matt Carkner 99 jersey that we would proudly hang on the podcast. I mean, we kind of talked about Réjean Hull, not Réjean Hull, hurting your feelings and cut you because you
weren't French. Let's just put it out there. He wasn't French.
Well, no, he spoke French. He proved it yesterday.
A little bit, yeah. Petit peu.
Yeah,
parler français un petit.
We'll send that number straight to Réjean Hull.
Fuck you, Réjean.
Yeah. Well, Réjean, yeah, no, I was about to play in the AHL for their opening night, and that was the story is that, Michel Therrien's head coach, and he wants me to lace him up, and I'm like, I don't have a contract, like, I can't play, and I called my agent, like, no, don't step on the ice until you get a contract, and Réjean didn't want to have it, so that's when I ended up becoming a free agent because of my birth date. I was a late birth date. Became a free agent, signed in the summer with San Jose Sharks.
And how, at that age, you were what, like 18, 19?
Yeah, around there. Whenever I became a free agent, that was my overage year, so that was B20. I was 20, turning 21.
All right, so I think we're caught up from where we were at yesterday.
I think so.
So this is all new content.
Yeah.
We don't know where this is going to go head now. So you're 19, 20, you're heading to San Jose. I'm pretty sure their AHL team was also in San Jose, right? Or was
Not
that the
back then? I was in Cleveland.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What a disappointment.
I think it was the Cleveland Bears, right?
Yeah, don't trash talk Cleveland. It was a great city, to be honest with you.
I just meant you sign in San Jose, sunny California, and then they're like, by the way, Matt, our farm team's in Cleveland. That's no knock to Cleveland. I'm a big fan of the Guardians. Yeah. But disappointing as a young man, I'm sure, going from sunny California to the beautiful state of Ohio.
Yeah. Listen, when I was young and, I signed my contract, in my head, I was making the NHL. That's what I wanted to do. That was my goal. So my focus was on San Jose, and obviously where the farm team is, but you don't really put a lot of weight into it when you're a kid. You just don't realize how hard it is to make it, and it took me a while. My first year, I wasn't ready. I was not ready for like that pro hockey in the NHL, and the AHL for that matter. I wasn't really prepared, so I kind of played a hard, edgy role in Cleveland and fought. I had 355 penalty minutes that first year.
Not bad.
Wikipedia was right once again.
What's that?
I said that's what it said on Wikipedia. So again,
yeah. So I had Nick Fatio as my assistant coach, and he never thought I fought enough. I'm like, Nicky, I'm like fighting every other night, and he saw that I could be even better. So he challenged me hard. But at the end of the day, I spent a lot of time in San Jose. That was my thing. I was always like the last one cut. So I always had that belief I'm good enough. I just wasn't getting the chance. Second year in Cleveland, I was playing really well. And I know that my head coach, Roy Sommer, who just retired recently, he actually told me like 2 days before, he's like, Karks, just keep playing well and you're going to get your shot. Like, it's coming. They've already talked about you. They know you're playing well. So just keep going. And honestly, two games after that, I blew out my ACL, MCL cartilage. And I was like, holy shit. So I knew that in my head.
Yeah.
2 days after that, they traded 2 of their defensemen away. One of them got injured. So 2 of my buddies that I was playing ahead of, they ended up getting their opportunity. And I'm sitting there with my leg up thinking the world's ending. So it was a challenge, that's for sure.
That is absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
I had a cold in grade 9 and didn't make the B team. I was pretty shook up. So I can definitely relate to how you felt for sure.
Couldn't play through that cold?
No.
No, okay.
No.
It says a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
That's why I always have glowing performance reviews at work.
Oh, geez.
So like we're gonna so like you said, you were a bit of a tough guy. You're in Cleveland. The one year you had 355 penalty minutes. Like I was looking up like the guys like you were throwing your weight like around against. Like there was times where like you were fighting like the same guy like every you fought like John Scott twice, Colton Orr twice. You fought Derek Bugard. Like was there like when you were doing this, like the first time you fought these guys was like, all right, I'm gonna throw down, like that's what I'm doing. But like the second time where you were just like, hey man, like we're going, or is it just more like, hey, like I'm doing this because the boys need to pick me up?
Yeah, it was all feel, right? Like anytime I was playing, if I felt the momentum of the game shifting or needing a little bit of a spark, I'd jump in and do it. The other part of it would be like if I saw these guys taking liberties on my teammates, I'd be the first one jumping in. I always kind of prided myself in being like that player first who could do it because I was playing a lot of minutes. Like in the AHL, I was playing almost 30 minutes a game. It was crazy. And, then having to do that on top of it was, it's tough. You take yourself out of the lineup for a little bit. And, I wanted to be part of the success of the team, but we needed that at certain times. So I knew that was my biggest asset. I used it. But guys like Colton Orr, I have a ton of respect for him, but I was playing in Ottawa, I don't know, probably close to 20 minutes in the NHL at that time. And I think he was playing like 4 minutes and he'd run my defensive partner and then stare at me. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. I guess let's go do this. But that was my job. I never shied away from it. I kind of used a feel. That does take time to develop too when you're a younger guy. Like I remember my first year, like I'd fought a lot, but sometimes it was just, not good timing. Maybe we were up a couple goals and I shouldn't have been fighting, but I was just challenging myself and not thinking of the big picture. As you get older, you kind of get that feel a little bit more. But yeah, it's part of the game. I'm happy it still is. I know it's fading away in the junior ranks a little bit and it's going to trickle up, but that first round of playoffs this year, I saw a ton of fights.
Yeah, and I loved it.
It's like that's what
absolutely loved it.
Like I know goals, big saves, and fights, and that's what you want in hockey.
That's playoff hockey.
Yeah, fucking right.
I know Brian O'Reilly, like Adam mentioned earlier, who we have a special 2-release episode this week.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, he wasn't a fan of the fighting, and I'm just kind of like, it's kind of fucking soft, Brian.
Yeah.
I love the hitting, and I mean maybe it's because we were used to like, the Cornwall Comets and the Akwesasne Warriors and just guys beating the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
On Saturday nights where I'm just like, I can live without the stage fighting, the LaRocques where you knew he's on the ice, he's only going on for a couple shifts a game to try and fight.
Yeah.
But I respected, the type of game that you brought where, I mean, again, I never came close to playing, but I assumed there wasn't too many people lining up to take liberties when Matt Carkner was on the ice. Yeah,
no, that's something. It was part of my game, and I agree with you. Like watching playoffs, you see the momentum shifts, you see it, and as a fan now, I watch as a fan. I'm like, you can feel it, the pressure cooker building, and then when the fight happens, it's you're cheering for either team. They're done, it's settled, and it kind of sometimes it settles the dirty play. It settles it down, and when it's done at the right time, especially if you have the right officiating with along with it. But for me, it's part of it. I did it to the best of my ability, and even as I kind of went out playing old school when I retired in Bridgeport with the Islanders, that was, I think, my last game. I just grabbed someone and dusted them up, and I waved to the fans. I'm like, that's it. I knew I was done, so
Yeah.
it was good.
Throughout all those years and like you throwing down, like, well, who was the toughest guy? Like,
That was literally the question I was just going to ask.
hey, baby, that's why we're having Jocks. Who was the toughest dude? I mean, like I said, I went through your catalog of guys that you fought, and like I want to ask a 2-part question. So, who's the toughest guy you threw down against, and also, what is with all the tough guys fighting Jared Boll?
Jared Bull's pretty tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jared Bull is a tough guy.
I'm not like hating on Jared Bull, but I'm just saying, like, we've had a few guys that like were tough guys in the NHL, and like they've fought Jared Bull.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I remember when he first came out, I loved Jared Bull. He was great, but I just feel like everyone was like, "Yeah, I'll have a go at Jared Bull."
Yeah, no, well, he was a gamer. Like he never shied down from anybody, and he was tough. He was a pretty tough kid. I think my fight went pretty well with him. I forget who it was, but it was a kid I should have never been fighting, but we were losing a game. I came up and cross-checked the kid, and he actually dropped his gloves, and I was shocked. I'm like, oh my God, kid, what are you doing? And I did what I had to do. And then the next face-off, that's when Jared Boll came out, and he just knew. He's like, you can't grab my little guy and get away with it. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, as long as it wasn't Nathan Gerby, I'm sure it wasn't.
It wasn't
okay, okay, because I know they both played Columbus around the same time. When
Yeah.
you said little guy, I was like,
I'm
well,
trying to remember the name. I'm drawing a blank, but anyways, that's him. But the toughest guy, like, it's hard to say. The guy I had the most respect for, like, it was Sean Thornton. For pound, like, he did his job real well. Colton Orr probably hit me the hardest I've been hit. So he was tough, and me and him, when we were in Ottawa, Toronto, we were like trying to kill each other. It was heavy fisted fights, and so he would probably go up there. Like John Scott and Bugard, they're just huge human beings.
Yeah,
got to be smart.
Because I don't put John Scott in that same category as the rest of you. I mean, you're big and strong, but I just feel like John Scott was just big.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he had a bit of a dad bod. Wasn't really like whatever. Him and Phil were crushing some hot dogs, and
nothing wrong with dad bod.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with dad bod. I proudly have been supporting a dad bod since I've been 13. But just I don't know. Like, I just feel like he's just a kind of a lanky fucking middle-aged dad, drinking beers before pickup, and I'll fucking fight.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't play a ton, right? So he was a defenseman in the minors, and I fought him there in the minors as well. And I fought Bugard as well in the minors when he was. I think they were both on Houston at one point, Houston Arrows. And I was going into those games like, geez, I'm like, okay,
who am I taking tonight? Am I going John or am I going Derek?
Yeah, that's a heavy fourth line.
Yeah, but no, listen, all guys. They try to do their best, and most of them kind of abide by the unwritten rule, the fighter's rules, and it usually, honestly, most of the times, no one really gets that badly hurt.
See, like, that's the thing nowadays. It's like the fights don't happen like that. Like, even this year, who did I see? Ryan Reeves fought that young kid from Arizona. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Like, the kid dropped his gloves, and like Ryan Reeves grabbed him and was like smiling the whole time. He's like, "Man, I'm not gonna give it to you just because I hit whoever." And I love that you're standing up for your teammate, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not gonna just beat the piss out of you because you're trying to be tough. And so, like, that's the one thing I miss about the game. It's like, Ottawa had Matt Carkner, and then you said Toronto had Colton Orr. So, if shit went down, it was like, if you guys were on the ice and, Colton give you that look like, hey, are we going or are we not going? Like, that doesn't happen anymore. I miss that.
Yeah, I mean, and especially during that time when you guys were doing like the Battle of Ontario at that point, I'm pretty sure Toronto had like a full line of just fighters. Like, it was Fraser McLaren. And who the fuck was the third guy?
I think was there for a little bit, wasn't he? Jay Rosell, was he?
Yes.
He was there for a little bit.
But it was just like a menacing line where you knew these guys had one thing on their minds,
Yeah.
And then you guys, there was yourself, there was Neeler.
That was, for the most part, that's what we
That's
had.
all you needed, really.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Chris Neal would grab a guy from each hand and if he had to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like smile on his face.
But I don't know if this falls in, if it's the same answers that you just gave Adam. But was there anybody that you just, you probably had to fight but didn't want to fight?
No, honestly, there's always the fear factor in a fight, right? So when you're going up the day before, you get that anxiety at night. You kind of go over the fight over and over in your head. But for me, anytime I felt that, I had to challenge myself and do it. So anyone I was really afraid of, it wouldn't have held me back. So I can say honestly, I was cautious, most of my fights. I didn't think I was going to just beat the bag out of everybody. I knew I was tough and could do it, but I was respectful of most of the guys and their abilities because, any given day, one guy can be tougher than the other. But
yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you a hypothetical, Matt. Cornwall's trying to get a senior men's team coming back. If I'm going to try out, has to be as a fighter.
Yeah.
Don't have the stamina to go MN. What would you say my best technique would be? Like, am I the old Jersey grab here? Short punches. I'm 5'11", which is probably big for Cornwall's size. With all the fluoride in our water. Like, am I best to use my reach? Like, what's your suggestion?
Is there a tryout for this?
I fucking hope not.
Oh God, I think you should grab him by both legs and go for the takedown. That's
probably
probably your best
style. Bet. George
St.
Pierre, right to the
legs. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that would be your best bet.
All right, we'll do that.
I mean, even the team here, like the team that's here, we talk about this guy all the time on the podcast. I'm not going to bring his name up. We both don't like him. But I had a buddy who he's deaf. Okay, and he was going to play in the Deaf Olympics, like for Team Canada. Great hockey player. It's Jim Kite's nephew.
Okay.
Like, good night, Jim Kite. And he went out. He was in Cornwall working for something, and he's like, I'm gonna go. He messaged me. He's like, Adam, I'm going to this open tryout for this team. He's like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. It's ice time. And he went out and just absolutely lit it up. Like no one could keep up to him. And then the guy that runs the team comes up to me like, yeah, I paid you paid your dues, but you're not really a local guy, so I don't think you're gonna make the team. And my buddy looks at him, he's like, dude, I'm going to the Deaf Olympics. I don't give a fuck about your team. Like, he's like, just I don't give a shit about your team.
I was trying to figure out what the segue was, and then I remembered I said hypothetical.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, hypothetical. Yeah.
Who's been drinking, you or me?
I'm not allowed to drink.
Oh no, sorry, I forgot about that. I'm off for 2 weeks from my work, Matt. So I'm just in a great mood right now.
Good for you.
And I got a promotion and a $2 raise today. So I am pretty excited.
It's a good day. Those are always good days. Celebrate.
I mean, also too, can I just throw this out in the open?
Throw
How dog shit was that Sens goal horn? I'm sorry, but I hate that goal horn.
Are you serious? That is literally my favorite goal horn in the league.
It's great.
I love it.
I hate it.
I didn't make that thing go off too often, but when it did, I enjoyed it.
That is in the pre-game drum. Doom, 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 doom,
that was pretty
that
cool.
fucking hypes me up.
Cool.
If it was that song with like Montreal's ability to do whatever they do on the ice with like the
lights and stuff.
Well, the lights, but now they have like almost like a video show and just cool stuff. If they combined, like the Sens goal horn in that pregame drum with the Montreal videos, got a hell of a hockey club, boys.
Well, you got a new ownership group coming in, so there you go. That's
hopefully Snoop Doggy Dog gets in there.
Snoop Deal Double D.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I'm this is an obvious question. Obviously, you playing in Ottawa, the rivalry was Toronto, Montreal, and all those guys. But what team would you guys go to outside of those teams, or even all the Canadian teams? Let's just take out the Canadian teams. When you would go on a road trip, which fans were the most just you would
really
just kill you guys?
That I was hoping you were going to answer that quick because I wanted to guess and I was going to say Philly.
Yeah,
that's what you said, right?
Philly was the worst. They were just, like,
In a bad way or a good way?
well, it's in a way where you wouldn't, like, if you were in Philly, you wouldn't want to bring your kid to the game for sure. I got it every time I got kicked out for a fight or whatever. They were trying to chuck stuff at me. They were rowdy, they were nasty, but they're passionate fan base. So I just remember them being a little extra over the top.
Yeah,
Love that though.
Yeah, wasn't it in Philly that that guy reached over to like try and fight Taidomi in the glass throat?
It was Philly, yeah.
Yeah.
Philly.
Yeah.
I know we should call Tommy Chong because he thought about that story.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I played in the island, and anytime we played the Rangers, those fans were nuts too. There was always fights in the stands. Like we'd be at a timeout and we'd be looking up and there'd be like 3 or 4 fights in the stands. Like that's the other experience I had, but that was with the Islanders, not with the Sens.
That's what blows my mind. Just fans so riled up, like just fucking ready to throw down. It's like, dude, we're going for the same team. Like, calm down. Like,
oh, you're talking same team fights,
even opposite teams. Like, I have an awful story with Sens fans. Like, not trying to like throw Sens fans under the bus, but like my mother, my stepmother her company has season tickets to the Sens, and like we're diehards Habs fans. So we went to a playoff game, and like I remember like Montreal lost in overtime. It was no goal. It was a kicking motion. Saying it right now. But like these fans, the things they were saying to us, like, and then like some dude like shoved my stepsister, like as we're walking out, and like I jumped at the dude, but my dad grabbed me, and like my dad's like a dairy farmer, strong as an ox, got me in a chokehold, right? And then but like it's just like I understand like having your passion towards a sport, but like to being so riled up that you don't know what you're doing, like shoving somebody and stuff like that, like. Calm the fuck down, dude. I got to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know if
that's the passion of the hockey fans, man. They take it to another level, and maybe that's why they're trying to get rid of the fighting in hockey. They get rid of the fighting in the stands. But I just watched another video of a high school soccer game, parents fighting in the stands. So it's never going to change. Like, they're just passionate, and if you're challenging my team, I'm going to challenge you. That's how their mindset is, which. They have the right, but they got to understand there's consequences. That's for sure.
Oh, I love hockey.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's good. And the game's on right now, right? My kids.
What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, 8 o'clock start tonight.
Beautiful.
So we're probably hitting national anthems right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a question I've always wanted to ask you. Just because, I mean, being a Montreal fan, there wasn't too many guys from rivalry teams that I rooted for.
Yeah.
But you were one of them. I loved seeing number 39 skate down the ice. I always had like a soft spot for the fighters because I always loved fighting in hockey.
Yeah.
And I guess, being a hockey guy, you've been asked to sign some pretty strange things. What would you say is the strangest thing you've been asked to sign?
Well, the strangest one for me, because like you said, like you had a soft spot for me because I wasn't a superstar, and and I played hard, and, from a small town, right? So I wasn't the guy everyone was looking for with their huge bag of tricks, but I had one person want me to sign their arm.
Okay.
And they went to the tattoo parlor and got it tattooed onto their arm.
Yeah, that's real weird.
Yeah, who's that one?
That's my grandfather. He played for the Cornwall Royals.
Yeah.
So I had him sign as if it was a hockey signature with his number, and then I got that tattooed.
Well, that's cool. That's your grandfather.
Yeah, it's different. Like I got my grandma's name on my arm.
Well,
yeah. Be that guy.
Matty, there's a spot right here for you, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Matty Carkner, 99. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had some interesting ones, but that was the weird one. And then they sent, I don't know, I think it was
DM'd you a photo or something.
They gave me a photo of it. I'm like, oh, that's great. Good job.
Hey.
But passion, passionate fans. I'm not gonna.
Explain that on your next Tinder date.
Yeah. Oh, you can scratch that out if you need to. I was only there 3 years, so.
Another question I enjoy asking, and maybe you'll give a different answer than some other guys that we've had on. I always am curious to know, like, if you were given your choice of any player, or sorry, I guess any defenseman in the league, and it didn't have to be from your era, could be of any time, could be somebody you've grown up watching or somebody that's playing now, who would be your ideal D partner?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I'll say Paul Coffey because I wouldn't have to do
love
any
that
skating.
answer.
I
Love
wouldn't
that
have-
answer.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I watched him growing up, and man, what an athlete he was. And he could scoot up and down the ice, create offense. Like he did it all. He won some pretty good. He won a couple of Stanley Cups, and he from what I've heard of him is he was just an absolute engine. Never got tired, and could carry a team if he needed to. But yeah, no, the smooth skating guy I was always jealous of, and I admired them. So he's up there, that's for sure. I would have to give a shout out to Larry Robinson too, because I love the way he played.
Big Bird.
I know you guys would love that, but he's from Marvelville, actually, Ontario. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
It's just on the outskirts of Morwood.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
So instead of traffic light, there was a what? I just stopped.
I don't think there was anything in Marvelville. It was smaller than Morwood.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Old farmer, but he played a pretty awesome style of hockey. So those two, if I could substitute myself, I'd put Larry in with
If when you were playing, like when other than so Joel always asked that question about who would you want to play with. When you were playing, who was the worst person to play against? Forward, defense, goalie, didn't matter.
So you mean like artist, not like the shittiest guy you played against?
Not the shittiest guy. More or less, like you were on the ice and you were fucking like, oh fuck, this asshole's on the ice, or I got to chase after this fucking little dick or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's a few. Like Matt Cook, I always thought was just really dirty.
Yeah, he's slimy.
Cookie
Yeah,
cutter.
he's slimy, dirty. I hated. I liked playing him because I could try to punish him, but he always found a way to hide. And then when he get you in a vulnerable spot, he'd try
like
to
cutting your Achilles tendon.
Well, he actually in playoffs one year, we both slid into the boards, and his foot was like above my head, and I looked up and I saw him starting to thrust, and I caught it with my shoulder, and I had a skate mark on my neck. It didn't cut me bad, but.
I feel this is like attempted murder. This guy
is unbelievable.
Like,
Yeah.
So listen, he would never say it was deliberate, but I saw it. I was there. I stopped him from kicking my neck. So
yeah, he's seen the look in his eye, and he said, "Let's get it on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Yeah, I don't.
I
think
mean, also too, back to like the person to play with. Like, if I was your size, like I think I'd want to play with Scott Edemeyer. Just because he used to just bring like.
But again, that's what he was saying with the skating.
He used to bring guys into Scott Stevens and like, hey,
don't
go to the outside, come to the inside.
Well, Paul could probably do the same thing if my partner, and and you add in Bobby Orr, like those guys are like, there's no better than those guys. I played with Erik Karlsson a little bit, to be honest with you, and he could catch up a whole zone if he got caught. So. Those guys, they cover up a lot of mistakes. They also sometimes
they're liabilities at times.
Yeah, because they try to do a little bit too much at times, but it would be fun to play with, that's for sure.
Do you believe in the offensive defenseman playing as a pair? As in like Eric and like you were a stay-at-home dude, play defense, do you believe in like having that offensive defenseman plus the stay-at-home guy?
I would just like a good relationship between the two, and I kind of set up our D with my team in the East Coast League similarly. I had, for instance, Michael Brodzinski and I had Chris Harper. So Chris Harper is a really good skating, big, steady Eddie defenseman. He covers up a lot of ground, and Brodzinski is just an offensive juggernaut. So you put them together and you hope that the mistakes from the offensive defenseman don't get exposed nearly as much. But you know, it's a challenge finding that right fit.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
I can think of when you guys are talking about that was Big Ambrose putting Byung-sun on his shoulders and going in for the headbutt in the finals.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the perfect pairing.
Oh my
It's not a
god.
strategy I've used yet. I'll have to think about
No,
that.
think about it.
Yeah.
But before we move on from Paul Coffey, I still play with the Paul Coffey curve.
Oh, nice.
When I play D, it's super illegal for sure.
Yeah. I
Um,
had one of those Christian hockey sticks with his curve, and it was a weapon.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I use Ovechkin's curve. It's pretty much the same thing.
Oh, I don't know, man. This thing's like a C. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dad's got the old wooden sticks still. My dad like plays hockey like once a year, and he's got the old wooden sticks, and like the curve is like that, and like his helmet it was expired, and
well, the only company I know that still makes the coffee curve is Sherwood.
Yeah.
So I have a Sherwood Paul Coffey stick in my shed. I was using it on the weekend and
Nice.
didn't do very well. Didn't do very well.
Yeah, that's all right. It's his curve. It's not his talent. So
yeah, well, that's very true.
That
I'm not even hurt.
Yeah,
I'm not even hurt.
no,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be hurt if you
that.
told me that too. Paul Coffey's way more talented than all three of us. That's for
Put
sure.
together. Let's be
Yeah.
real. Just me and Joel together don't give much, Matt. Let's
Yeah,
be
we are your Byung-sun.
Yeah.
We're sitting on your shoulders waiting for that ball to come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible that you know the names from that movie. How many times have you watched it?
I honestly, it's only because I watched it not too long ago. I was trying to find a Will Ferrell movie that wasn't Elf, and that was the first one that popped up. And I'm also a big fan of Ditka.
Okay, yeah.
I try and model Mike Ditka as much as I can in my life.
Nice.
So it's kind of the perfect film.
Yeah, for you, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
And also has like Beans from Even Stevens.
Yeah.
So it's true.
Yeah. That's where Will learned about coffee, right? Is that the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna have a half calf.
Yeah.
Half cap. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, you said
Decafs for losers.
So like you were saying, like with your team, you had a couple of defense partners. So like, I don't know if anybody knows. So like, would you want to like just let everybody know like who you're coaching and like what your team?
Yeah, no, right now I was assistant coach once I retired from Bridgeport Sound Tigers and the Islanders. I was an assistant coach there for 5 years, I guess, after being a player coach for 2 years.
Can we time out right there? What is the difference between a sound tiger and a real tiger?
Well, a sound tiger is a tiger that lives near the Long Island Sound.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Is it like at the zoo?
Bridgeport is right on the Long Island Sound. So if you talk about it, it's like a part of the ocean that comes in.
That's wild because I've been to New York and I did not see "Watch out for tiger" signs anywhere.
No, we are right next to the Bridgeport Zoo.
Okay.
So that's
I was going to say that is something they need to advertise a little bit more.
Yeah. And they're no longer the Sound Tigers now. So they're called the Bridgeport Islanders because Bridgeport is an island, I guess. I didn't realize it. It is not an island, just so you know. It's
tee off.
Yeah.
Continue where you're saying you were assistant coach after retiring.
Yeah. So then, so after that, I was let go by the Islanders. They were just shuffling things, brought in their own guy, Kowalski, who you guys probably know, Rick Kowalski. So he was coaching there, and I got a year to coach my son with youth hockey. It was unbelievable. But obviously I want to get back in. So I started looking around for AHL assistant jobs. And then I decided like to make a case for being a head coach in the AHL. I need to get experience and run a bench. Yeah.
I have ADHD. So if I don't stop for a question, it's gone. And I don't get too many good ones. So like, where do you find these jobs? Is this like LinkedIn? Is this like a special like website? Because I think if you and I teamed up.
Yeah. No, it's networking.
No, okay.
It's networking. That's all it is. Yeah. Sorry. LinkedIn and all that. It does. I looked on it, but no, you gotta go through your network and just kind of. I reached out to all the AHL GMs and then agents and all that kind of stuff. So,
Perfect.
anyways, I found the Orlando. Now I'm getting mixed up with my animals, but Orlando Solar Bears. So Solar Bears makes sense because we're in the sun here in Orlando.
Yeah. And it's different from a polar bear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's the Orlando Solar Bears. The job was open, and it's actually a head coach and GM job. So
That's
I'm
sick.
responsible for building the team and you know, a lot of other things, and along with coaching it. So I hired my one of the players I played with in Bridgeport, and I coached him in Bridgeport. He's my assistant coach.
That's sick.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been great. Actually, we had the fortune of getting the Islanders equipment manager as well. He was let go for some weird reason, and I'm not getting into it, but he became available, and he's fantastic. So we have a good staff. We had a tough year this year, just trying to figure out the team. I had to retain a lot of the players that we had from last year, just getting a late start, and ended up. I shuffled through almost the entire roster. We had 58 players on our
Holy
roster.
shit.
Wow.
That does sound like the Cornwall Fighting League. That's
Yeah, it was a revolving door just to kind of get the
rotating
right
door,
fit, right feel. I think we're in a better place now going into next season. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
So, I mean, I worked in the front office for a baseball team, and I know how quick turnarounds come whenever there's trades and signings. And in one of my jobs was like writing up contracts and submitting stuff to the league. With 58 players, like you must have been, you know, on the phone after, before, and sometimes during a practice.
Oh yeah, no, it was crazy. You know, some practices I just cut out short because I knew some things were in motion, and you know, you get a player that's going to be recalled to your AHL affiliate, which we're affiliated with Tampa Bay Lightning and Syracuse Crunch. So they get called up, I got to send them on, but then I got to, you know, if I don't have enough rosters spots, I have to find another player either through the waiver wire, someone who was released recently, maybe a free agent that's been kind of working at home. This year we had a player I called, and he was playing men's league, and so he comes in. I'm like, what I do with players is I say, hey, introduce yourself, tell us something interesting. He's like, hi, I'm Paul Butsev, and you know, last week I was playing men's league, and now I'm here playing for you guys. I'm excited to be here. So
That's awesome.
he scored 2 goals that night.
Hey,
So, that's wicked.
It was a great night, but you know, that's kind of the stuff I'm dealing with. And you know, and you got to you got to have a list of options at all times, and always, you know, watching the waiver wire, seeing the current roster changes and all that. So it's been exciting that way, but it's frustrating because I've been in the AHL and NHL for the majority of my career, and like you said, it's not as volatile. Like you usually have your roster, and there's a few changes here and there, but this was nuts, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so that goes to like the whole thing. Oh, Aberjacki, literally
working at
Costco, and then he comes up and he's like
makes a OHL team, and then makes the NHL. Yeah,
you know?
Wild.
And then like I had a second question, and I forgot half of the Aberjacki thing. Oh, there we go. That's what it is. So like, how do you know like so like you said, like guys get called up, and you're like, I have a list of guys. So like for me, like this is gonna sound stupid, but for me, when I hear that, it's like, okay, I play fantasy hockey or football, sorry, and it's like I have a list of guys that are on the waiver wire, and I can be like, I can pick up this guy, this guy, this guy. So like, how do you have that list? Like, how do you know like what guys are available?
Well, some of it, you know, is from training camp. So I'll invite a lot of players in a training camp, and whether they, you know, stick with me or I release them, they can go somewhere else. But sometimes I go to the SPHL, which is the league below us. So I'll keep my eyes on them. I'll keep a, you know, dialogue going with them. So those are kind of easier recalls. But what I do is, it's honestly every day there's a daily
transaction.
The transaction list, and if say Adirondack released a player, if I'm in the order where I can pick up a player, I'll just put my name in for a waiver claim and then I'll get them that way. Otherwise, it's kind of like what you said. You go through the list of free agents and like
Yeah,
you take a
literally.
It's
look.
pretty
Yeah.
much like fantasy football.
Yeah, you take a
If
look
you don't
and you
have the
gotta.
number one waiver
Whoa.
claim, you're screwed.
Yelling, modern day technology.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Heck no.
No, but honestly, it's the same kind of idea, but we do watch the players on Instat to see what type of player they are, what kind of role they're going to fill for us, etc. But sometimes you only have 5 hours to figure out who you want. So it's
Wow.
That
sometimes
was
it's
literally
like
my favorite job.
who's the closest person, like who's available, like
Yeah.
who's a warm body who can get here in 3 hours.
That's so stressful.
No,
Yeah.
it's actually like a high. Like
Yeah.
I remember, like I'd show up to the baseball diamond at like 7:30 in the morning. First email I have is from the league, the transactions, and my first task of the day was, let's pull up some YouTube clips of these boys and see who has what, what team are they coming from? Like if they're on the road, how far are they from you? Could you meet them somewhere on the road?
Yeah.
But it was almost like a high every morning coming in where it's just like, we need to get this back into the league by noon to make sure this guy can get to wherever he's going.
Yeah.
But like,
I've had kids, we couldn't get Ubers to certain places and we've had to hire taxis to drive them go 4 hours, and they meet us at the hotel or at the bus. It's interesting.
I mean, I work in a lumber yard, dude. So the biggest stress I have is we're gonna make sure that all the lumber gets out on time. That's all the biggest stress I've got. So
Perfect.
I mean,
Similar, very similar.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I mean, the coaching the ECHL seems like just a sweet gig. Like you guys have such fun names, like Orlando Solar Bears, the Wheeling Nailers.
is that like the Toledo Walleyes?
Yeah.
league?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some sweet names. I think
Yeah.
they need to bring the creativity from the ECHL to the NHL level.
Yeah.
Like, let's
I
do
don't know if
away with
that's
these
gonna fly.
stupid inverted jerseys. Let's get some of these jerseys that we're seeing in the ECHL.
Yeah, we do have actually a lot of jerseys. They do a lot of that because they sell them and it
Yeah.
produces some revenue. And
But it's so sick.
yeah, there's a lot of cool ones. We had a tie-dye night this year. We were trying to break the
wicked.
world record for most people wearing tie-dye in one location at one time. And we had like 13,000 people show up to the game and it was nuts.
Did you take advantage to wear like a tie-dye tie or like dress shirt?
I didn't have time. Like I said, I was worried about my roster.
Oh yeah, no
That's
kidding.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, waiver wire was coming in quick.
I needed social media to bring me a tie because I wasn't
Yeah.
going shopping for a tie-dye tie, but I did think about it. I thought about a tie-dye suit, all that. I just never came to fruition.
You know what, Maddie? If I'll order a Carkner custom Habs jersey with 99 at the back. If I send that to you to sign, I will also send you a tie-dye tie for your next tie-dye night.
Okay, nice.
That sound like a deal?
Yeah, that's a deal.
Perfect.
I love it. I love
Easy.
it.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
I wish I like the big thing for me, like too, like I'm a big baseball fan, and like this thing that's going around now, it's like the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah,
Have you seen that? Like, what do you think of that? Like,
that's interesting. That's just
See,
pure
that's-
entertainment,
that's
right?
the thing. Like, I feel like it's like either you hate it or not. Like you saying it's interesting. I like that someone said that because like it's interesting, and like I've read the rules, so like there's actually rules behind the game, and they have like a certain amount of time during innings. Like they got to keep the game going. Like yeah, like the videos you see online are stupid. They're dancing and stuff like that. But a lot of these guys play like university baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
just coming home to play ball. I love it. I like me and my neighbor. Like my neighbor, he literally lives like 15 feet from me, and we send videos to each other. Like this is great. This is great. Like I don't know, but
It's a little bit of a shtick, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I
That's
probably
all I'm-
wouldn't want to make my career based on that. But
no. But it's cool. They
If you're
get
gonna
like,
go play some fun baseball after
Yeah.
college or whatever and have an experience, sure, that's great. And everyone's got different goals and dreams, and maybe you want to be a Savannah Banana. I don't know. Maybe you got good I don't know.
I mean, even though they've had a lot of MLB players, like Eric Gagne has been on there. Who
Yeah.
else is on there? Johnny Damon.
Oh yeah.
Jake Peavy's been out there. Bert Kreischer, I mean, he's a comedian.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
he doesn't fit in that
Yeah,
same
no,
category
no,
of
Bert
professional
Kreischer's a
athlete.
comedian, but it's all right.
Yeah.
What job do you have the most liking to? Like my ideal job is if I wake up and get a call and you're GM of this NHL team. I absolutely love everything that goes on in the front office wise.
Yeah.
So do you have a preference between your two chapeaus that you wear in Orlando?
Yeah, no, I want to be a coach. Like I do enjoy the management position. It's good. It gives you that ability to be flexible as a coach. But at the end of the day, I want to coach. I want to develop players. I want to, get to the highest level possible, get back to the AHL as a head coach eventually. And then, after that, who knows? You do a good job there, you get opportunity. You could end up in the NHL, and that's the goal. And I'm passionate about coaching. I've been doing it, even when I was playing, I was partly a coach. I was trying to help guys, young players coming through, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. There's so many good people in hockey and great coaches out there, and it's just a fun environment too. I love the game, so I want to be in the trenches with the guys, going through the ups and downs, the good times, the bad times, and working through it as a team, as a kind of a family environment, right? So for me, I would rather be down on the bench than up in the press box, managing the bodies.
Well, if you're ever looking for a Jonah Hill to your Brad Pitt,
perfect. There you go.
That was my nickname in the front office. They called me Jonah Hill. They didn't bother learning my name. I was a little heavier. My hair was a little longer. It was a little curly. And they just yelled down the hall, Jonah! Yes, Ben. He's had a spelling mistake in that contract, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, okay, thanks, man. Sorry.
That's nice. I don't have anyone to yell at. I have to do all that stuff. Me and my assistant coach, we're the scouting staff. We do all the transactions. We do everything. So it's nice to have you. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, let me know. I would be more than happy to scout in the Cornwall,
SDNG area.
SDNG, Hawkesbury Hawks.
Nice.
Winchester Hawks.
Yeah.
Eastern Ontario. I got you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And if you need a forklift driver, I'm your fucking guy.
Yeah. We'll find a spot for you. Maybe Zamboni.
Yeah. So like you said, like you were kind of half coaching before you retired. Like, was there a difference between, like you said, like coaching while playing and then actually just coaching and not being like, hey guys, like this is what I'm seeing on the ice. Let's change it to this, instead of being like, just watching and being like, hey, I saw number 14 being a fucking asshole in the corner. Let's do this. Like, was there a difference between that?
There's a huge difference, and it's all behind the scenes. It's the workload. It's breaking down video. It's the one-on-one videos with players. It's talking about the practice plans, the systems development, just communicating with your staff and trying to lead the team in the right direction, and having more control over that. Like as a player, you're selfish, and I think as a coach you are to a certain extent as well. But you have to do, as a player, you have to take care of your body. You have to be very selfish in that manner where, I have my routine. I'm not going to stray from it, and I need to put my best foot forward. But in that role, I was able to help players, if they have a question on the system. I've been around, I know most of the system, so I'll help them out in that regard, versus presenting a system and having your video dialed in and having the pressure of all the eyes staring at you and waiting to be directed. So it's definitely a different responsibility in that manner. It was good to be an assistant coach for a little while and then see the difference as a head coach as well. I've learned a ton this past year in that regard, just being in charge of everything. As an assistant, I was given penalty kill and I kind of ran with that and did some individual video and that kind of thing. But as a head, you're doing everything, which is great. I think it helps with development, that's for sure.
So I have two questions that just popped in my head, and I think one is a solution for you.
Yeah.
So, you talked about large roster turnover. And I know this worked for another coach by the name of Reggie Dunlop,
Yeah,
player coach. What do you think?
I tried that for 2 years. Then I couldn't play anymore. So
No?
those days are gone. We came close a couple times this year, to me and my assistant, thinking we were probably the best two players available. So, but no, it never came to that. I'm done, dude. I'm done. I play 3-on-3 with the guys sometimes, and the next day, everything that bugged me when I was trying to keep playing, it just flares up. I had 4 knee surgeries and a back surgery, and
Oh yeah.
I always said I'd play till I couldn't walk, and I came pretty close. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I maximized it.
That's fair.
I love
Yeah.
it.
The second question that popped into my head was actually something we discussed yesterday, which was Michel Terrier's bad habits of while being a coach, smoking, waiting for the guys to, making the guys wait on the bus, including ownership at times. I know another guy said like Michel would smoke right in the dressing room.
Yeah.
As a coach or assistant coach, have you ever had a bad habit in the locker room?
I'm trying to think.
Like, are you preaching, healthy foods, and you're just like cracking cokes or
No.
Sprites in the
Trying to lead
locker
by
room?
example in that regard, but bad habits, not really. Sometimes I blow a gasket
Oh,
sometimes.
that's coaching, bud.
Yeah,
That's not a
The
bad
guys
habit.
need to know it.
And,
Like
every once in a while.
the hockey stick off the wall, the screaming at players and that kind of thing. It kind of is necessary at times, but not really. I wouldn't say a bad habit. I'm trying to think of anything. The only thing the guys say is that I do, for some reason, the shirts that they gave me in Orlando, they're New Balance shirts and they're smaller than regular shirts. So I'm wearing an XL, which I'm an
You're wearing
XL.
a medium. You're wearing a medium.
But yeah, no, it looked like everyone's like, the guy looks scary enough. Like, Bugsy, why are you giving him a
Oh,
super
the Michel Bergevin treatment.
my arms were flaring
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I guess that might be the only bad habit. The
Your
guys
Mark
were a little
McFly story.
intimidated by it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, that's okay. Do you at least get a sweet set of dad New Balance shoes?
Oh yeah, no,
That's tight. Good for you.
I got my first pair this year too. I became a dad about 11 months ago, so I got my first pair of New Balances. And honestly, all jokes aside,
comfy shoes. I'm not a dad.
Yeah,
I have a dad bod, and I bought it myself a pair. You use them to mow the lawn, though?
No, I
crazy. What are you crazy? Those are my good shoes. Come on.
No, they're too good. Yeah, we're sponsored by New Balance, so they're great quality product. I just have a too small size of shirt.
No, okay.
And I'm
Did
not.
they ever consider like a 2X?
I need to get a 2X, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an XL, and you're a lot bigger than I am, dude. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know. That's what I always wore.
Yeah.
Guys don't like it. They're intimidated. Kids are a little softer now than.
Oh, for sure.
No.
If Coach Carkner showed up in tight arms and a New Balance crop top, 100%, I'd be intimidated though.
It was pretty much a crop top. Yeah, maybe that's a bad habit. I should get rid of that. Yeah, wearing the crop tops for my meetings.
Like some of these kids that you're coaching, do they like know who you are?
Oh, they have to.
Yeah, a lot of them. Like some of the younger ones, not really. But there's always the older guy, and then they're like, "Dude, you know what this guy did?" And they're like, "No." And then obviously the YouTube comes out, and they're like,
they beat the brakes off this guy, beat the brakes off this guy.
But it's hard because, like, yeah, I want the respect of the team, but I don't want them to be afraid to talk to me. You know what I mean? I need constant communication. I try to set them at ease. I'm a nice guy off the ice. Like
you're a fantastic guy.
You're an absolute
I don't
beauty,
fight anymore. So like there's nothing to be really afraid of unless you don't back check, then you're in trouble.
That is a fucking problem.
Yeah, then it's a problem. But no, that's the game has changed in that regard. I remember my first year coming in, no video, like no individual real attention, like Roy was good for doing that and doing individual extra work, but it wasn't like there was no coddling. And now it seems like everyone needs their you
did a good job, Timmy.
Yeah, exactly. A little pat on the back, but the mental health part of the game too it's incredible what the kids are going through in their heads. So I don't know if it's just a different way everyone's raising their kids or what's going on, but there's definitely a change I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have to hand out like player of the game awards, or like, you scored a goal,
We
you get a
do.
frosty?
Yeah, we do actually have. We went to this is what we went to in Orlando for a team build, a gun range at the start of the year.
Yeah.
One of the sponsors, and they're nuts, and they let us, shoot some pretty crazy guns. But they had an old like World War II like air
Airman like helmet. Yeah,
airman's hat with the goggles.
yeah.
That's what we handed out after every
That's
game.
pretty sick. That's one of the cooler ones I've heard of.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we used to have hard hats. I remember one time one of my coaches came in. We were at a tournament in Pembroke, Silver Stick. He came in drunker than a skunk, and he said, "The first person to score 2 goals tonight gets $5."
I think
we got fucking pumped that game. Let's just put it that way.
You need something like this, I think, for next season.
Yeah.
I need something. Something to go along with the Solar Bears. I'm thinking like something with shades on it, but
you know what? There's a great taxidermist in town. We'll see if we can get like a bear head, like a skinned one.
If he has I don't think you're gonna get a polar bear one though. I don't think you want that.
You can dye them white.
I'll figure it out.
Throw some bleach.
Nice pair of pit vipers on the end.
Pardon?
Little bleach, yeah, that might work.
Bleach.
I mean, hey, I'm going to Cochrane. There's polar bears out there. I'll figure it out.
Are there?
Yeah, they have an exhibit out there.
Well, okay, with this exhibit, I'm pretty sure it's not open season then.
No, you never know.
We'll see. I'll see what I can do to find you a nice bear hat. And some pit vipers. That's sick.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, we it's going to be an exciting season this coming season. I'm looking forward to it, and it's probably. Have you guys seen any updates on the game? I haven't seen yet.
I can pull one up right here.
Let's see whose app is quicker. Joel always chirps me about having the score on my phone. Well, guess what?
0-0, 5 minutes left in the first.
There we go. The first one that came up was the Jays game with 2-1 Yankees. So
that's good. 2-1 Yankees. It's not good.
Not good.
See?
No.
Yeah.
No. But you know what, Matt? It's been an absolute pleasure. We're not going to keep you any longer. We'll let you go catch the game, hang out with your kids before they have to go to bed. It's been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far. Yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, I know you're going to turn this off and you're going to say, what a lame interview.
Not at all. Not at all.
I appreciate that, fellas. And appreciate you having me on. It's been fun. I could talk hockey and stories all day, but I have to get going. I'm going to watch the game with my kid. My kids aren't little. They're 16 now. Geez, 16 and 17. So they put me to bed now.
But those were the great times. States is 21, but having a beer with dad, watching the game, that was my fondest memories.
Yeah.
So absolute beauty. Like I said, Matt, appreciate you coming on. We'll have to have you on like this time next year to get an update on the Solar Bears.
Yeah.
And we'll I'll get that jersey ordered and sent out so we can hang it right here. And I'll send you that tie-dye and I'll talk to that taxidermist in town, see what we can do.
Okay, pal. I appreciate that. If you can do all that, you might have a job.
You know what? You know what? Don't underestimate the fire you just lit, pal.
I appreciate that. That's great.
No problem. Your right hand, right here. Jonah.
You guys have a great night. Appreciate it.
You too, Matt.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.